Hello there, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sam, and I moderate these weekly webinars here. And in just a second, we're going to be joined by Michael Corgett, one of our financial advisors, and he is going to be giving you a rundown of some updates related to your Caterpillar pension when you finally decide to retire from the company. I apologize in advance. We will not have time today to answer any questions after the presentation, but I invite you to still ask away. It's completely anonymous, and I'll make sure one of our Caterpillar-focused advisors can answer those questions with you either through phone or email after the presentation has ended. Throughout this webinar, you are going to see me dropping some links. They're going to pop up on your screen. Those will be from me. They're going to guide you to our Caterpillar focused YouTube channel, as well as our LinkedIn and our calendar, where you can book an appointment with one of our Caterpillar focused advisors to speak to them directly about your specific concern or situation. So please take advantage of all of those links. And lastly, I'd like to just very quickly remind you, we are not affiliated nor endorsed whatsoever by Caterpillar. So please keep that in mind as you are listening along today. We are a completely independent group of financial advisors. And with all of that out of the way now, let's get started with Michael Corgett.
Thank you, Sam. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about the Caterpillar Pension Retirement Program and the differences between the various formulas and how benefits are paid out, and how you might want to consider your pension options, especially if you are married and or have some people in your life that you would want to leave some benefits to. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do an overview on the plan. Then we'll talk about eligibility for the program. The two biggest factors that go into the pension calculation is your service and your income or your salary, pension eligibility, and then the credited service formula, which is one of the two main pension plans that is offered by Caterpillar. I talk about the old and the new, but let's just do the plan overview to get started. Before January 1st of 2003, the plan offered what's called a traditional pension benefit, which is payable monthly to participants who retire. But then beginning in 2003, they offered a new benefit, which is called short PEP for short, but the Pension Equity Plan, where if you chose to elect the PEP benefit back in '03, you would have had to do it then. You would also be eligible for a lump sum versus taking the monthly pension benefit. Now, all traditional plan participants, unless you made that election back in '03, are still going to get the traditional monthly pension benefit based on one of two different formulas. So if you didn't make the PEP election back then, well, you're not going to be eligible for the lump sum. And I'll be honest with you, that lump sum benefit really isn't significant enough for you to consider not taking some sort of monthly pension benefit. That's my opinion, but I've worked with many CAT employees over the years, and the PEP benefit, sure, it is nice to take that lump sum, but typically the net present value of a monthly pension benefit is worth more. Okay, benefit accruals under the plan were frozen as of December 31st, 2010. So all participants are considered sunsetters prior to that point in time. You would have had to meet one of these several criteria. Your most recent hire date on or before December 31st of 2002. It's what we call sunsetters. Attained 40 years of age on or before the end of 2010. You had to be at least 40 years of age at the end of 2010 to also be eligible for a pension benefit. And you were actively accruing a pension benefit prior to that same time frame, the end of 2010. So for the most part, anybody after 2010 into 2011, they're not eligible for a pension at all. Most of you know who you are sunsetters and are eligible. Not all of you, but most of you are considered sunsetters. And then finally, CAT chose to freeze all accruals. You're no longer earning any more pension credits as of the end of 2019. So in 2020 and beyond, you're no longer earning any accruals, any pension benefits at all. As I'm sure you're very well aware, Caterpillar chose to offset those accruals with a higher match on your 401k contributions, as well as a discretionary profit sharing match, which is typically paid out in the March timeframe of the next year. It's additional cash that's contributed to your 401k, which is very nice because it could add up to 5% of your total pay, along with the new pension match and your own deferral. I've seen very significant contributions, and this is CAT's way of saying, hey, this is what we're going to do for you now versus the old defined benefit program. Pension eligibility, again, we more or less have talked about this, but essentially you had to be working for Caterpillar or a subsidiary prior to December 1st of 2010, or you were working and then you left, but you came back to work and were rehired before January 1st of 2011. You can see an adopting list of employers. Caterpillar has many subsidiaries that employees are eligible for pension benefits, but you may want to contact the Caterpillar the Pension Benefit Center at the number listed below. You're welcome to give us a call and we could help you out as well. So keep all that in mind. The two biggest contributors to your pension is your years of service and your salary, your total income as a CAT employee. Both of those factors go into the calculation of your monthly pension benefit, as well as that small PEP benefit that I talked about. Now, there are three different crediting methods. The first, credited service, is the service that is credited under the old formula, which is the credited service formula. Years of service is the number of years of service, which technically can be the same number of years as credited service is, but the years of service is going to be the number of years of service that's going to be used in the calculation for the final average monthly earnings formula, which is the newer formula. So I talk about the old formula, the credited service formula, and the new formula, which is the final average monthly earnings formula. And the number of years of service that are credited can be different. And the biggest difference is that you only get credit for 35 years of service under the newer pension formula. Under the older credited service formula, you could get credited for service beyond 35 years of service. And I've retired CAT employees in the past with over 40 years of service, and they have taken the credited service formula. There are not too many CAT employees where that formula still makes more sense than the newer formula. For the most part, those folks have already retired, but they may still be a few of you out there. Pension eligibility, I've really pretty much already talked about the various factors that go into pension eligibility, but here, age 65 with 5 years of participation in the plan, no minimum age, but you have 30 years of service, age 55 to 59 with 15 years of service, 55 years or older, plus your vested service for a total of 85 or more, or age 60 and older with 10 or more years of vested service. For the most part, a lot of these really don't apply any longer because, again, the plan eligibility was more or less frozen almost 15 years ago. But now let's talk about the two different formulas. The credited service formula. The credited service formula, or what I like to refer to as the older formula, is your number of years and months of credited service, full-time and or part-time with more than 1,000 hours of employment in any given year. If you had a break in service, as long as you came back within 5 years, they will bridge that service. That number of years of service is then multiplied by a basic pension rate, which is $43 and change, plus a supplementary pension rate where the maximum is $7, and that will equal your monthly pension amount. Your years of service multiplied by the basic pension rate and the supplemental pension rate equals your monthly pension amount. Let's just use for an example, $1,800 a month. That's what you would have been eligible for under the older formula. Now, the final average monthly earnings, or the newer formula, they're going to look at your previous 10 years of total earnings from basically the end of 2019 back to the 2010. So those 10 years of service, what they're going to do is take the best 5 years of service out of those 10 years. They don't have to be consecutive years. And mainly the biggest difference is your STIP awards, that short-term incentive plan. Some years they're very good, and some years they're not so good, or you don't get one. So they're going to look at the 5 best years out of the last 10 years, and they don't have to be in succession. And they're going to take an average of those 5 best years to come up with a monthly amount. And here is an example of the newer formula. Let's say you've got someone who's 62, which is normal retirement age, and they're eligible for 100% of their retirement benefit. Their average final monthly earnings is $4,000 a month, and this individual worked for 35 years. So 35 times 1.5% for each year equals 52.5%, a maximum of 52.5% of your average monthly earnings. The $4,000 a month would be equal to $2,100 a month. Now remember, I mentioned under the credited service formula, this individual could have been eligible for $1,800 a month, and under the newer formula, they're eligible for $2,100 a month. You are obviously going to get the larger of the two benefits, okay? Which is, you're in some cases, as I mentioned, the old formula may make more sense, but in most cases, the newer formula produces a larger monthly income. Now, how are those benefits going to be paid out? Well, there is one pension option under the credited service formula where you could take 100% of your $1,800 a month and then offer a 55% spousal benefit. This is the only pension benefit where you'll still get 100% of your monthly benefit, but 55% would go to your spouse. Under the newer formulas, there are several joint and survivor annuity options. An example here, a joint and 50% survivor benefit. The $2,100 a month, if you chose to take a survivor benefit, you're going to reduce your monthly benefit by a percentage to provide your spouse with a 50% or a 75% or a 100% benefit. The more you choose to leave your spouse, the less your monthly benefit's going to be. And keep in mind that, let's just say, for example purposes, a 50% survivor benefit would reduce your monthly plan by 10%. If you go joint and 100% survivor, it's going to be about a 20% reduction in your monthly benefit. I've talked about the single life annuity already. There are contingent annuity options where you can leave a benefit to your children if you are no longer married or your spouse is deceased. There's a year certain, period certain benefit, so you could take a slightly reduced single life annuity to guarantee that over a period of either 10, 15, or 20 years, if you predecease that period of time, the balance of those benefits will get paid to your beneficiaries. And then finally, the PEP benefit, the lump sum benefit, that is in lieu of any annuity. You're going to get one or the other. And again, we're obviously talking about taking a lump sum versus a monthly annuity. CAT's pension is affected by inflation because CAT's pension, like most employer pensions, is a fixed amount. There is no cost of living benefits built into CAT, any pension benefits, including the Caterpillar pension, unlike your Social Security where you do get cost of living increases. So many fixed income investments, as well as a fixed income pension, are going to be affected by inflation longer term. And stated here, bond prices will generally decline under increasing interest rates, so it's a double whammy. Talking more about investment options here, a completely different discussion, and certainly would look forward to talking to you more about this as well. But one other thing that I do want to make sure that I point out is I talked about full retirement benefits. you are eligible to take early retirement pension benefits under both formulas. Essentially, under the final average monthly earnings formula, or the newer formula, for every year of service, every age prior to 62, your monthly benefit would be reduced by 4% up to a maximum of 24% for early retirement. Under the credited service formula, that is a 6% per year reduction up to 30% potentially for early retirement. Now, for an example, let's just say you're 58 years old and you retire from CAT. You're looking at retiring 4 years early. 4 times 4 is 16%. That's the reduction that you would take in your monthly pension benefit for starting it early. You could defer it if you want to get the larger monthly benefits. That's something that certainly you'd want to talk to a financial advisor about. But again, just please keep those things in mind. It wasn't mentioned in the presentation, but I wanted to mention it now. Finally, I've talked about planning. A lot of Americans have never done any financial planning. We offer, as an organization, the opportunity for a complimentary retirement cash flow analysis. If you're working with a financial advisor, make sure they do this for you. If not, please let us know, and we're happy to put together one of these complimentary cash flow analysis. Getting a second opinion, whoever you're working with, do they understand your pension and your health care benefits? Are they working with an investment team? With our organization, we are an investment team. What value do they offer you in just discussing your entire situation? There are a lot of different value adds, I like to say, that we offer our clients outside of what we do primarily to make a living, is getting paid to manage retirement assets. And that's why fees are mentioned here. Are the fees that are being charged to manage your retirement assets fair? Okay, well, you got to consider that. And finally, do a plan and keep it updated periodically. Why would you want to consider us? Well, we have a great deal of experience. We have always worked with Caterpillar employees for the past 20 plus years. We do work with a lot of Fortune 500 companies. We have offices nationwide. And I've got a great deal of knowledge, most of us do, at the retirement group, on all of your benefits programs. And then finally, we offer that complimentary service. If you'd like to schedule a meeting with myself or one of my colleagues, either give us a call, send us an email, or scan this QR code here on the left. And then finally, if you want to follow us on LinkedIn, we have a great LinkedIn page with a lot of great content. Scan this QR code on the right and follow us on LinkedIn. I've talked a lot about the CAT pension plan and the differences between the older formula and the newer formula. I really look forward to the opportunity to talk with you more about your own situation. Let us put together a cash flow analysis. As I said, it's complimentary, and I really look forward to having this discussion with you. But to end today's presentation, I appreciate everyone joining me today. Have a great day, and look forward to talking to you someday soon. Thank you.